Carolina. I am here kind of sitting around waiting for the UPS truck to show up with something that my husband bought that I have to sign for. I should be out getting my new glasses so I can see what the hell I'm doing. I am not. You guys know the rules. Let's get into it. So, got a bunch of people out there. Names shall remain nameless, but they know who they are because I've called them out. Wandering around in the desert of, oh, intellectual dishonesty about what's going on at Lucasfilm. And I'm going to say this. There are people within the Star Wars fandom, good morning, Dave, who do not want anything to be fixed. Because you've even got them saying, even if Kennedy goes, nothing will change. You know, and these are people who pride themselves on trying to make money. Morning, it's like, I'm sure they also don't know who Milton Friedman is, F.W. Hayek, etc., etc. Revan, I said my piece yesterday. I stand with Doomcock. I stand with Cameron. I stand with Andre and Clownfish TV. And you're actually getting to what my point. The people like that are intellectually dishonest. They are intellectually dishonest. And the reason why I'm saying this is, first off, you could have Cameron Pasha explain to you how it works in Hollywood, and it would go in one ear, rattle around in their empty heads, and go out the other without stopping. I've worked in politics, so I've seen the way things work. For instance, after I left in 2006, Congressman Mark Foley, who I knew his staff, I knew of him, is in September before the midterm elections, and it came out that he was wandering around harassing male Capitol pages. So they dumped. He had to leave Congress. It was a big scandal. It hurt the Republican Party itself. And Nancy Pelosi swept in on her broom, and basically, this is the start of the shit that we've been seeing ever since. I've seen it happen. It's, I've seen it. All right, let's talk about another one. Anthony Weiner. Hey, House Treaties. Anybody who knows who that is knows that he got caught on Twitter by Andrew Breitbart, my former I did write a piece for them, and I had conversations with him. Anthony Weiner caught on Twitter sending dick pics to kids, to girls. I think underage girls too. They all knew it was happening. You can't tell me that Hillary and Huma didn't know it was happening. They did. Okay. The thing about it is this. They weren't going to do anything until they got caught, until it got to the point where it had to happen. So when I see stuff like, you have to set it up, okay? And if it happens fast, it happens fast. But when you're talking about Hollywood, when you're talking about Kathleen Kennedy, when you're talking about the personalities and the level that she is at, you can't just fucking fire her. Now, sure, I'm with all of you. I'd love to see her fired like that. I'd love to see her frog marched out with her box in front of her with, 2 former Navy SEAL security guards. All right, I'd love to see that. But it's not going to happen. And I think the people who want it to happen are idiots. And, we're going to see her contract run out. She gets to finish Indy 5 and then go off into the sunset with her gold watch or parade down Main Street, USA, and getting her bony ass kissed by everybody. And these guys still won't be happy. They still won't be. The fact of the matter is, she's not at Lucasfilm right now. She is in England, asking Harrison Ford how he likes his coffee. And after 40 fucking years, she should know. Knowing him, it's probably black coffee. I don't even know if he drinks coffee, but if you know what I mean, you know what I mean. There's no one right now at the head of Lucasfilm because she is gone. She is totally working on Indy 5. That is what she's doing. Not that. Oh, God. I can see him just looking at her like, that look on his face. Make me laugh. You know, I get, as far as I'm concerned, the Phoebe Waller-Bridge thing was probably to placate her. That doesn't mean anything about the script. I can't imagine. That script has gone through so many goddamn changes. I have an article, an interview with Harrison Ford from 2016. I'm going to pretend you didn't say that, Revan. Don't disrespect Harrison on this channel. From 2016, receiving the script. This is not the same script that he got. This is a different one. Or maybe, Mangold just built up on it. But this script has gone through a lot of revisions, and I think the reason why is because every time somebody finished it, John Kasdan was one of the guys working on it at one time. This script has gone through a lot of revisions, probably because the first one sucked, second one was worse, third one was, oh my God, set it on fire. Fourth one was like, and then they get, oh, I gotta see it again, Planet. So this is, but yeah, she's not at Lucasfilm. Here's the deal. She is on hands helping produce Indy 5. She is on the ground in Yorkshire tonight, right now, because I think it's like what? Evening time there. All right. And they're on the set. They just showed up. Okay. How is she? And these are things that she did not do for any of the Star Wars movies. She was not in England for Solo, and she didn't watch the dailies. And we wonder why that movie was, well, it would have been bad no matter what, but still. The Rise of Skywalker, there are no set pictures of her there. The Force Awakens, no, there are set pictures of her from The Last Jedi. Late afternoon, thanks. So I just go, okay, she's full-time on this movie because it's her swan song. So she can go out, hopefully with a bang, and have something to talk about for her last hurrah at Lucasfilm, okay? Because that's what's going on. Now let's go back to the intellectually dishonest. I find it hard to believe that someone could actually be a college graduate and not understand how to read subtext. All right, you get the Forbes article. The moment I saw it, I was like, oh, this is about Lucasfilm. Because I looked at who the writer was. I looked at where he lived, Southern California in the LA area. And I'm like, oh, this was meant to hurt Kennedy. And the fact of the matter is, when the guys, and I'm not just mentioning Doomcock here, but everybody, it was getting indications that the Forbes article started bombs going off at Lucasfilm, even in the writers group, okay? Because it wasn't about Bob Chapek. To me, I don't think Bob Chapek has mismanaged anything. I think he's still trying to figure out what the fuck Iger did. Okay. Then we've got, and he's dealing with the backlash over Gina, and people, absolutely tearing Kennedy to shreds anywhere she shows up, on the internet. And then we get, the fact that Disney streaming services are plateauing, that the movies aren't doing well. Let's see. The High Republic is a joke. All right, here's the deal. If you don't believe up with that book, The Heart of the Jedi, showing up out of nowhere and then it suddenly disappearing without Disney saying a word, you are a moron. You are manipulated, you're easily manipulated, and I can't do anything about you because you don't think critically. And we have a lot of people within the fandom who don't know how to think critically. And I'm not a conspiracy theorist. When somebody like Alex Jones starts running around screaming, they're turning frogs gay, it's like, I think critically. And if there's something there, if there's smoke, there's fire. Like, I can look at the Navy, the military's disclosure on UFOs saying, yeah, there's something out there, they've said that. Saying, yeah, there's something out there, they've said that. They're not saying what it is. They're not saying that what they found out there are UFOs. Okay. They could be, Russian technology. They could be Chinese. They could be, hell, the Brits or even the Israelis could be doing shit. All right. There's something to it though. Where there's smoke, there's fire. And what they didn't declassify, that's the thing that makes me wonder what actually the fuck it is. Here's the deal. You also have to understand that when they talk about stuff like that, yes, we have had, sentient beings showing up here with far superior technology, observing us. That, and then they show proof. That would send the entire population of the planet into panic. Okay, because too many people have seen Independence Day and too many people have seen War of the Worlds. Okay, just because we have this issue showing up doesn't mean these people or these things, these creatures are here to hurt us. Now they could be. They could be. All right. But, there's a reason why they don't, oh yeah, this happened. Because people are like that. Going back to intellectual dishonesty and everything. So you got the Forbes article. You've got the High Republic crashing and burning, being another financial failure. You've got the Gina Carano backlash building. You've got her merchandise starting to reappear. I don't care who says it, that is something to be looked at closely. Okay? You've got the Variety article showing up and Dave Filoni's job announcement. Yeah, I just see yours. Maybe people aren't talking. So what do you want? You've got Doomcock saying what he's heard. You've got, the guys at Midnight's Edge saying that they're getting indications that something is going on. And what do you want? Here's the deal. And I've called people out on this personally. I don't think they want it to be better. Like I said yesterday, there are people within the fandom whose name shall remain nameless who want to see the world burn. Even if we were to get George's sequel trilogy, they won't be happy. They'll start attacking him because it's not what they want. Okay? Now do you understand? Because this isn't about Kennedy leaving. And the whole, I need to see, she's not being fired. They're just not continuing her contract. Well, she's leaving as a failure. Everybody in Hollywood knows it. that's pretty much bad, don't you think? Well, I don't watch his stuff. The only time I go to him is when he's got the Disney investors call because I want to hear what they're saying, which it's always bullshit. It's a, Chapek is smart enough not to say anything, but people like that, again, they're first off, they're EU fanatics. They're fundamentalists on the EU side, and they're not objective, and they don't not they're. I mean, we have a guy who should just call himself the Pablo Hidalgo of the fandom menace. You know, even that apology rang hollow. I didn't take it. I didn't take it. That's fine, whatever. Look, there are people that make a lot of money. I have heard six figures for a lot of channels that are afraid that if she goes, it gets better. What do they have to talk about? Okay, because and here's the deal: they don't offer solutions. They don't have any intellectual feet to stand on. Okay, they just sit in rage, 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 rage. That's all they have. They don't talk about what could be done, what is the point here. Where is this going? When you tell them about, okay, we got the Variety article, we've got the lie that it was a glitch on the website, and Filoni was promoted last year. Now, a lot of the big dogs think that was true. Fine. This wasn't a glitch. That promotion wasn't supposed to go in till May 22nd of 2022. Or May 20, it wasn't supposed to be announced till Star Wars Celebration in Anaheim. But now it's announced. Why? Because the investors are sick and fucking tired of seeing their investments get blown up over the Wokistanians. Okay? That's what's driving this. And I can't deal with people who don't understand that. I was one of you. I raged. And then I thought, there has to be a way out of this morass. There has to be a way out of this morass. They couldn't find anybody to replace Kennedy in 2018, and I know they went and looked. Don't fucking argue with me. Okay, and here's the proof. They didn't put out a big press release and have a press conference and do all the celebratory things. It was just a little tiny notice at 5 o'clock on a Friday, 5 o'clock Pacific time on a Friday evening. All right? That's what they did. If it really meant something, if they really wanted to make it hit, and if it was really a good thing, they would have made a big fucking deal about it. That's Disney. But they didn't. And therein lies the proof that she is up shit creek with a paddle. And the reason why is because of Solo. All right? She's incompetent. They know this. That's why Jon Favreau was brought in. That's why Dave Filoni ran into his arms and said, "John, save me. You're my only hope." All right? That's why you see pictures of George Lucas on the set of The Mandalorian. Okay? And anybody who wants to sit and argue, this is you, not George. This is you not having any proof to the contrary that George isn't part of this. Go smoke more dope, okay? Go smoke that more anger weed, Okay? Because I see pictures of him on the set of Mando. You know, I see little indications that he's been all over it. I see the fact that you could take the name Grogu and realize you can take several letters out of the name George Lucas and come out with Grogu. All right, that's what that meant. That's where the name came from. Okay, when it comes out, and it will someday, I'm going to laugh my goddamn ass off. Okay? Yeah, yeah, it's Grogu spelled Grogu. All right. You know, I wouldn't even doubt that he was the one that kind of suggested it. Now they're saying, I don't know why. They don't give him the credit. Maybe he doesn't want it. But, you know, they give Jon Favreau the credit, and that's fine. That's fine. Yeah, and I think that, and I'm pretty convinced that he is involved. Yeah, and I agree with it. Hey, Abanas, how you doing? Abanas is in the house. You know, so let's go back. We've got all this public proof. We've got Disney stocks falling. We've got JPEG, uh, quote unquote, you know, making things confusing for. All right, House Atreides, you know, making things uncomfortable and frustrating studios. You know, we could go through the Variety article before again, but I'll tell you what that said. When you get into it and you see the name Alan Horn is leaving with Bob Iger, that's an indication to everybody in Hollywood that Kathy's gone too. And again, she doesn't need to get fired to be embarrassed by all the shit that's happened. I am sure that she was horrified when she saw her Oscar video get ratioed into the seventh son of, you know, some system 1,000 light years away. All right? Then you gotta look at Disney's, again, financial stuff. Their stocks have dropped. Their streaming service has plateaued. They admitted it. Their movies aren't doing well. The parks aren't putting out enough money to keep up, and a lot of park upgrades and renovations and stuff and add-ons have been basically sidelined and stopped and paused. And of course, the cruise lines, if they're open, I mean, you know, people are still afraid to go on cruises. Disney's in a world of hurt. The idea that they're not going to look at where they can find a success. Bloody hell. Luke Skywalker showing up in episode 16 of The Mandalorian, being Luke Skywalker, broke the fucking servers at Disney. You don't think they didn't notice that? They did. You think maybe they're going, you know, maybe this woke shit isn't really working out and maybe we need to change. You don't think that, you know, the High Republic's dismal failure and laughable, almost comedic bullshit, it's a troll on the fans. They didn't even try. You don't think that got JPEG's notice? Even Iger's notice? Here's the deal. Bob Iger's looking at this going, she fucked up my legacy. All right? And he defended her. I know he did. I, you know, so she's got both Bobs probably pissed off at her, and well, remember the Eye of Sauron, and I believe that Favreau said that, and if any of, Kennedy's people had found out that Mark was going to be part of Mando season 2, they'd have put the kibosh on it. And, you know, the people who don't believe something is going on, they can look at the public stuff. Again, listen to what Cameron said about how Hollywood works. And you people who dismiss him, well, you haven't ever made a movie in Hollywood. You haven't ever had to sit there and listen to these people talk. You don't know the culture. Okay? But you're really, you whatever. You know, when someone like that talks and starts speaking from experience, I shut my fucking mouth and I listen. Okay. Just like when I'm talking about politics and how DC works, and it still works this way, shut your fucking mouth and listen. Okay? Because it's really not that different from Hollywood. Like this. At the first investors meeting, when the guy asked Chapek if, incidentally, funny enough, was named George, asked when was Kennedy being fired, and Chapek said, "Oh," and he gave her glorious accolades. That was the owner of the team talking about a failed coach, George Steinbrenner, praising Billy Martin, and 2 weeks later, Billy Martin's out on the street. That's it. That's what that was. Okay. But you don't handle removing Kathleen Kennedy like you do a baseball manager, but you use the same language. They're not going to say out loud, even to each other, that she's a terrible, terrible administrator for a studio. Revan, what are you doing? Are you trying to start drama? Go back, instead of being here, go back and watch what I said yesterday. I am done talking about him, okay? All right, you're just here acting like you're immature, and I'm done, okay? I'm gonna go Miranda Priestley on you. That's all, okay? You can't fire her like you can a barista or, one of the angry fanboys who disagree with this, but then you find out they have no reading comprehension and can't understand subtext and politics and the Machiavellian shit that goes on. Okay? You can't just fire somebody like that. And the fact that she's not getting her contract renewed is a BFD. Okay? I don't care what you think. I don't care how you couch it. You can bitch and moan and do whatever you want. It is a BFD. And the simple reason is this. She's supposed to be the most powerful woman in Hollywood. She never makes mistakes. Look at Lucasfilm. Look at the fact they're not making any money. And ultimately, as Cameron says, that I have come to realize after trying to figure out how to get the fuck out of this morass, that they're going to come to a time where they're going to think, we need to make money, and we're not. And that's the bottom line. Now, I don't know how many of you guys are on Twitter, but here's again, subtext is everything. Somebody on Twitter, shall remain nameless, went to Pablo Hidalgo, his public account, and basically believes it might be best. He said after 20 years, or he asked what his plans were. He said after 20 years, I don't know, and I don't know what her plans are. Somebody else went to him and said, I'll just be glad when you're gone. And he really didn't reply. Okay. He's done too. Okay. If he says it out loud on Twitter, it's real and he has to accept it. Now here's some other subtext. He posted a picture of the Yoda statue in front of the Presidio offices of Lucasfilm, visiting an old friend I haven't seen in a long time. The tone of all of his tweets, and they're very few and far between, are reminiscing. They're reminiscing. Okay. You don't think something's gone on? You don't think Disney said enough is enough? We're not spending money on any more on this asinine bullshit? And I'm pretty sure that thought was crossing Bob Chapek's mind when the bean counter and the money counters and the money dudes walked in going, read it, here are the financials for High Republic. You know, and I'm going to be very honest with you. I don't think it's just Pablo that should go. There are people that worked on this stuff at Disney that need to go. Jennifer Heddle, she is the one for Disney Publishing that handled Star Wars. I think he knows time's up. It almost looks like like on a couple of those, he's cleaning out his office. You know, what did you say? Oh, Philip, I think you're right. I really do. I think you're right. I mean, but the fact of the matter is, here's the deal. There are people out there that only worry about content. You're just as bad as a story group. You really are. Okay? And that's for the naysayers in general. You don't understand that when Chapek announced they're going to a distribution model, that was for you, dears. That was for you. Okay? I just said that, Revan. I just said that. It's like, you gotta think about the money. You gotta think about what Disney is going through financially. Well, Trencher, again, we don't think a lot of times they're worried about the reaction. And not just, we'll laugh and mock and open up bottles of champagne and get wildly drunk and yub nub all over the place. But the 5 SJWs on Twitter will be pissed. I gotta go. Hold on, hold that thought. Stop it. All right, you gotta go to your house. I'll be there in a second. House. Go on. Sorry. You can stop. You can stop. Okay, so you guys got to hear Kojak singing the song of his people when somebody comes to the door. Was waiting for a FedEx package. Anyway, I think it'll be big. But I'm going to tell you something. A Book of Boba Fett, and I think Andor, and I don't think, yeah, well, he weighs over 110 pounds. Or, I don't know if you, how much do you weigh? He weighs probably about 110. He's really, he went to the groomers yesterday, and he's really getting, he's all fluffy. He's floofy. Are you floofy? Yeah. But he's, he's getting to be a big boy. He's almost a year old now, so. But anyway, and that's another prediction, and I can't tell you how I came to this conclusion, but we are going to see Han Solo and Andor. And I can't tell you why I know that, but I do. And it's not going to be Alden Ehrenreich. All right. Oh, he is a handsome boy. Did you hear that? Where are you? Kojak, come here. Come on. Come on. Lay down. Can you lay down? Can you lay down by mommy? Lay down. Come on. Come on. There he is. There. Now I don't have to worry about him. It's really going to be interesting to see, but I think, I don't, it's not Ian Gruber, but I know it's not going to be, Ehrenreich, Alden Ehrenreich. Now I know, but I think I think what's going to happen with Boba Fett if Han does show up, it's going to be a deep fake, and you're going to see Harrison Ford. Found it interesting that before he went, Harrison Ford was kind of sporting Han hair. It does, Alden Ehrenreich is a discount hobbit, and he's a shitty actor. I mean, let's be all honest on that. I've talked about that ad nauseum, but anyway, it's very interesting how all this is happening. I've seen other actors sporting Han hair too, but whatever. Well, I mean, I don't think it's going to be Ian Gruber, but I don't know, and we'll just have to see. I mean, when Andor comes out, we'll see. And actually, I'll probably watch it. Just because, I didn't mind Rogue One. Well, Ehrenreich needs the right role. Gay transvestite would be probably better for him than space cowboy, gunfighter, manly man. Anyway, but back to intellectual dishonesty. So we've got, DVD talking about what's going on with Lucasfilm, and we've got Walt Disney World Pro at Clownfish TV talking about it. We've got, the guys at Midnight's Edge talking about it, and when I see people saying it's not true, she's going to be there, I imagine his name shall remain nameless, but he's not very bright, and he's young, and he's stupid, thinking, honest to God, that somewhere in Anaheim, somewhere in Orlando, behind some big wall, is a giant forest of money trees. I mean, there are people out there, I am convinced, that follow this and honestly don't believe that things are changing at Lucasfilm, that think that Disney can basically print money. And it's laughable. I am an investor. Now, I haven't looked at my portfolio. I don't. I trust my guy. But I wouldn't be surprised if at one time I had Disney stock. Now, let's say I did have Disney stock. You know, enough. This is, you don't invest to get rich right away. You invest for the future. Okay, the stock market isn't there to, if unless you're a speculator, unless you're one of those edgy broker dudes, you know, if you're just a person who wants to have a nice retirement with enough money to pay, to pay for groceries, vacations, a new vehicle, maybe another horse for mama, that kind of thing. And those investments mean everything. And when a company like Disney fucks up, or a division of Disney fucks up, that doesn't just go to the hedge fund that invests your money, that ultimately hurts you and me as investors. Okay. And that should piss you off. Okay. See, Kathleen Kennedy's decisions didn't just hurt Disney's bottom line. She hurt the investors because Kevin Feige's responsible to the investors. Every person that runs a division of Disney is ultimately responsible to the investors. And when they drop the ball, when they are incompetent, okay, all right, they hurt people's bottom line. And I'm not talking about BlackRock or Vanguard or State Street or, Morgan Stanley or, JP Morgan Chase. I'm talking about the investors, the little guys, people like us, upper middle class people who, don't want to have to live on $200 a month on Social Security. Okay, Social Security is a Ponzi scheme, by the way. Changed my mind. They hurt us. Okay, so when you've got Vanguard, you've got BlackRock, and you've got State Street and the rest of them going to Iger, saying, what are you doing? And they see Gina Carano basically being told, we no longer want to work with you because you're an Otzi, because you posted a meme that has nothing to do with Otzis and anti-Semitism. As some, it's very interesting to me how it started to change. And it was after the first investors call, when that guy asked about, when Gina Carano was asked about, when Kennedy was asked about, and I almost, I don't know, Valiant Renegade, jump in here. Do you think maybe, I don't think the first one about Gina was a setup, because that was a conservative nonprofit that called in, which it's like, oh, fuck. If you're a conservative organization, stay the fuck out of this, okay? Stay the fuck out. Let it sort itself out without your help. Because what you people do is ghettoize Gina, okay? And I think she's doing a pretty good job of that in some ways by, signing up with Ben Shapiro, okay? And the reason why I say that, it's not because he's pro-Israel or anything. It's that you carry a stigma with you in Hollywood. Mel Gibson is conservative. And he got canceled. Rightly so, in some ways, because he was acting like a drunk horse's ass. Okay, he's rehabbed himself. They like him again. All right? Okay. You know, he's never going to be perfect. I have a good friend who actually got drunk with him in his basement one time. And Mel Gibson, let me explain how this works. Guys like him are mad geniuses. True artists are mad geniuses. Okay? They don't play by rational people's rules. Okay, the moniker Mad Mel really works with him. And it doesn't make him a bad guy, it just makes him different. Okay, there are other directors like that. There have been directors like that in Hollywood since Hollywood was born. Eric von Stroheim, probably Cecil B. DeMille, you name it. Okay, there are guys like that that are just, I would say James Cameron. And I don't like James Cameron. He's not a likable person. Hey, Planet. He's not a likable person. He's arrogant. I think he's a misogynist. Even though he writes strong women. He virtue signals leftist shit because he wants to be liked. Mel, he doesn't virtue signal at all. He just does what he does. And I think a smart guy does that. A smart person does that. But anyway, you don't ghettoize yourself. And when Shapiro saw an opening and an opportunity, and he ran to jump for it. And I don't know Ben personally. I know a lot of people who know him. And a pop culture minefield. And he's a nice guy. He's been in the fight. But, an actor has got to understand that until the playing field is even in Hollywood, where everybody can work, and that day is coming. That day is going to come. Okay? It is not, somewhere off in the far distant future, as more and more of Hollywood realizes that they can't make money catering to China, that they can't do what they want to do with everything going on because people aren't going to the movies. And I'm going to tell you something. Looking at the financials coming back from the theaters reopening, theaters aren't dead. In fact, when they started to reopen and they started bringing back movies like The Empire Strikes Back, 40th anniversary, Raiders of the Lost Ark is out at some theaters now. If it comes out to ours, I'm definitely going. And that'll be, going back to both of these movies is a real fun moment walking down memory lane. But anyway, the theaters are going to be fine. The movie palaces will be fine. Okay. Streaming services, I'm going to say this. You put all your eggs in one basket, and if it starts to fail, you are screwed. And Disney did that. But again, Disney's business model has always been our studios are ads for the parks, and the parks are where we make money. Okay. Maybe that model should kind of change, okay? Until this COVID shit is gone. But I do have to say that if you're not looking at the financials and all you're doing is complaining, and there are people that do, they just don't. Again, they think there's a orchard in the back where Bob Iger says, or Bob Chapek says, I need $1 billion. So they send out a bunch of, I don't know, let's get really politically correct. Migrant workers from Guatemala to go out and pick $1 billion bills out of the trees. I think there are probably people who think that. They honestly think that Disney is solvent right now. And it is laughable. Oh, great pop culture. Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate that. It is laughable Listen to what Cameron Pasha's saying. Listen to what Andre says. Listen to what Valiant Renegade has been saying about this. The reason why we think there's smoke and why we think there's some truth to these rumors is because of everything I just talked about. Streaming services plateaued. They're not making any money on their movies. The parks are doing well. I haven't actually looked and seeing if their cruise ships are moving yet. But there's that. Disney's not going to go bankrupt. And I'm not one of those people who wants to see it burn. I would like to see it be better. Make Disney great again. Make Star Wars great again. Those should be our chants and our mottos. First off, there are hundreds of thousands of people that work for Disney. Why would you want to see them out of work? Why, Mazarus just posted something from Gina. I don't know what it said. Maybe someone can go on Twitter and look. It's nothing. It's a nothing burger. I'll look at it later. Anyway, why would you want to see an iconic American brand go bankrupt? Why? Maybe picked up by a French company or a Chinese company? Would you like that? That's a possibility. I don't. I want to see American companies thrive. I want to see Star Wars thrive. And we have people out there, the naysayers, and the juvenile delinquents, and me, Mandalorian. I've never left Star Wars, and I won't. I'm in this for the fight. I'm not like other people. I'm not giving up. And the reason why I'm not giving up simply is this. Only losers and wimps and cowards give up and walk away. All right. What are you? You gonna stand and fight? Or are you gonna sit there and complain? You gonna sit there and attack people who are fighting? And another thing, Doomcock's rumors, what Andre and Tom are talking about, and Tom is not wholly on board, but still, he doesn't say it's not happening either. Okay. Valiant Renegade, all these people, Clownfish TV, we're not saying this because we're hoping it's true. All right. There's a reason why we're saying it could be true. Just look at where Disney is right now. Look at all the evidence. Again, I'm going to bring up Dave Filoni's promotion. If you honestly believe they didn't update the website and that's the reason why it wasn't announced till now, you're a moron. You're a fucking moron. That wasn't an announcement. But there are people out there who don't think politically and don't understand Machiavelli and don't understand how this maneuvering works. Okay. I'm going to tell you this. Kathleen Kennedy, all right, doesn't want Dave Filoni there. Ha ha ha. Mazarus is in the house. She don't want him there. She's perfectly. Hey, General Katarn. She doesn't want him there. She hates Jon Favreau. If she'd have found out that they were doing Luke Skywalker coming to the rescue, she'd have put the kibosh on it. She would have tried at least. All right? She'd have put the kibosh on it. Okay? And that's the truth. All right? That's the truth. And the reason simply is this. It got in the way of what she wanted to do. Do I believe she's trying to rewrite Star Wars history? Yeah. Because she wanted to make it about her Star Wars, not about George Lucas. And, you know, old redneck nerd, she didn't know he was going to be in it. Just the reactions from the story group was enough to make me go, yeah, they didn't know. I mean, they were like, oh, fuck. Okay. All right. Well, here's the deal. If she's out and out, told to leave, it's not that it's business. It's that, well, you could look at it that way. First off, it would look bad. It would be a PR nightmare. Okay, and to me, I mean, because you'd have, look, the fan base isn't divided in half. The fan base is divided about 85-15, 15% in favor of hers. Look at the merchandise sales. Okay, that's all you need to do. The dipshits don't buy Star Wars merchandise. They don't go out and buy Kyle Ron figures. They can sit there and scream about it, but I guarantee you there isn't a Raylo that we know of that has one. All right? Hell, I found one at a Tuesday morning and sent it to Craig from Reviews for You, and last time I saw it, he had it servicing his Revan costume. I was laughing my ass off. Grossed out, but you know what? In some ways, it makes sense. They didn't want it. Collectors don't want it. I don't want it. I just ordered my Cade Bane 6-inch Hasbro. I'm looking for Uhura, what's her face, the red-haired bounty hunter. I gotta get a Boba Fett. And they wouldn't. I mean, General Katarn, they don't buy it anyway. Here's the deal. Let's go off and segue into Raylos for a second. They're either middle-aged women, single cat ladies, cows, or they're teenage girls or college students who don't have an idea of what they're talking about. They don't know anything about Star Wars. For some reason, they think ugly ass Adam Driver is the bee's knees. 50 years ago, if he'd have tried to hit Hollywood with that weird looking face of he wouldn't have gotten past monster movies. All right, Boris Karloff roles. Okay, I mean, not even. Oh, you're right. Not even stuff that Christopher Lee played. Oh, I know that, and they're probably gay males. I mean, I have gay friends who, when I start bringing up Raylo, start gagging. I mean, it's just like, so what do you think of Raylo? What are you talking about? Just to see the reaction, because it's funny. No, he couldn't. But, there's nothing attractive about the guy. And when you hear his voice, he doesn't have that deep, lovely baritone. He doesn't have a deep, rich baritone that Harrison Ford has. He has a little teenage boy's voice. And I'm going to tell you this, a lot of actors in Hollywood nowadays, Alden Ehrenreich included, if you were to get them on the phone, you'd be wondering if you're talking to a 12-year-old. Well, yeah, I did a video on the Raylo art, and they got really pissed. It was funny. Okay? I had two of them screaming at me to take it down, and I'm like, fuck you. Okay? I'm not taking it down. You can kiss my ass. You put it out there on Twitter. It's not yours now. Well, I don't really think that has anything to do with it, Trencher. Here's the deal. The Twilight movies ended. We got 50 Shades of Mommy porn, and I think that's where they were born. Okay? Instead of, you know, being like, God, he's an asshole, they were like, ooh, boo, baby boy. Anyway, I'm not worried about them either, just like I'm not worried about Kennedy anymore. It's just like Valiant Renegade said, it is just a wait and see thing now. It's happening. Let me give you another clue. I said this before, I'll say it again. They moved up Indy 5 a month or two to start filming. I thought it was going to be in July. All of a sudden, I see news reports going on. I'm like, what the hell? There's Harrison Ford in England. Okay? You see news reports from, and what I find fascinating is there was no fanfare for it. Why? It's Kennedy's last hurrah, and Disney didn't want to make a big deal. Okay? Disney didn't want to make a big deal. But what I love about this, let me segue into this for a minute. I spent Friday at the World War II fly-in in Reading, Pennsylvania. And I think I missed my era by about 85 years. About 80 years. I love that time period. I love the music. I love the clothes they wore. I love the way guys were guys and women were women, and that was it. Seeing the airplanes, we saw one of the only two B-29s. The Fifi, her name is Fifi, and she's enormous. When you walk out in the airfield and you look down and you see that big tail, and you know it's not a B-17, it's a B-29. Fucking cool. P-51s, there is Corsair, those are my two favorite fighters. The B-17, it's just, to me, that's my thing. That's my era. So I'm looking at the set pictures, and I see the stunt man on the bike, and with the Harrison Ford mask in it. When you look at it, you can't tell it's a mask. It's like, holy crap, am I back in 1985? It's good. They did a really good job. And then you see the guy standing there in the German uniform, he's like that. And I don't think it's Indy. I think it's somebody else. You see all that German hardware. There's a sign on a building I saw that was in French. So I'm pretty convinced they're doing an escape from occupied France thing. And the train set up like a train, a troop train, going back to Germany, maybe running with some artwork or something. Whatever the opening sequence is going to be, because the opening sequence in an Indiana Jones movie is always action. So I think the opening sequence is going to be a flashback, and it just filled me with these are my people, and I, despite the naysayers, I think it's going to be pretty good. I don't care if Kathleen Kennedy's part of it. I don't care if Phoebe Waller-Bridge is part of it. You know who else is part of it? Steven Spielberg, Harrison Ford, James Mangold, and I think the guy that slows Kathy's roll, her husband, Frank Marshall. And don't be surprised to see George wandering around the set. I'm giddy over this. And what's really funny is when they were making the Solo movie, I had the dreads. I saw who they picked. I saw the directors, and I kind of wanted to give it a chance. But my dreads, my doubts were bigger than my You know, I wanted to feel that way about that movie. But I'll tell you something else. After what they did to Han, why even make it? And that was the problem. Okay, that was the problem. And it is going to be very interesting how this is going to play out. But I think that this movie's going to be great. Well, my thing is you don't do, I mean, the idea of doing a Star Wars as a comedy is, that's me going, I don't get that. And I don't get it. I don't get it. And I'm very, you know, I don't, I don't get it. I don't understand. I mean, again, the people that wanted to do this movie, who didn't, John Kasdan, Larry Kasdan, Kathleen Kennedy, Pablo Hidalgo, it's like his fifth favorite Star Wars movie, because he actually did help on it, I think, and that's the only reason why. They didn't like the character. They were apathetic towards it, and that's what they got, all right? And Kennedy was incompetent about producing it. Again, this is where the problem started, though, where it became obvious that she had to go. They couldn't find anybody to replace her, which is why they quietly resigned her to her next contract. Um, and, we have what we have. Yeah, and you're right. But you got to remember this movie. James Mangold, Mad. He ultimately ended up writing it. It's very interesting to me because John Kasdan was attached to it, and he was all proud and strutting around like a peacock. And whatever he turned out probably turned Ford's stomach. I don't know because I'll go in, maybe I'll do a video about it. About, and I'll sound like Mike Zero, but there are things I've seen just in the set pictures that make me think it's going to be something different. Anyway, I wanted to do this, talking about people who are intellectually dishonest about the rumors and not taking into consideration not taking into consideration any of the financial stuff, the stuff that we've seen in the trades, and basically impugning the integrity of good people. No, Dominique, Harrison Ford doesn't want that to happen. So, and I think from what I can gather, he has the last word in it. I don't think that's going to happen. And I really wish people would stop saying that. It's almost, again, we have a group of people who can't find anything good to talk about. Anyway, I've been on here for almost 70 minutes. So I gotta go. I gotta go pick up my new glasses so I can see what I'm doing. And maybe my new contact lenses. Anyway, I don't think they're in yet though, but I will talk to you guys later. If you hear anything new, I'll see you around the galaxy. I just don't think that that's going to happen, that Indy's going to die. But, I think people just look out. I will later. We need to talk. So anyway, General Katarn, Maze, everybody, Valiant Renegade, I would ask all you guys, thanks for stopping by. Love you all. I gotta go get my new glasses so I can see what the hell I'm doing. Talk to y'all later.